What if one tiny coin, forgotten for decades inside an old box, hidden inside a drawer, or sitting quietly in an old family collection, could suddenly become one of the most talked about treasures among collectors? Welcome back to American Coin Secrets, the place where hidden history, forgotten masterpieces, and incredible coin discoveries come to life. Today's video is extremely special because we are beginning a countdown of 4 fascinating coins that continue to attract attention from collectors around the world. But here's the exciting part. One of today's coins was created in Germany during a time of rebuilding and transformation. At first glance, many people would completely ignore it because of its small size. Yet experienced collectors know that appearances can be deceiving. Some coins become famous not because they are made of gold or silver, but because their history, scarcity, and survival make them truly extraordinary. As we move through today's countdown, every second becomes more exciting because you never know which detail could completely change the way you look at old coins forever. Stay until the end because today's first coin has a story that many people have never heard before, and its collector interest may surprise you. If you love hidden treasures, mysterious histories, and amazing coin discoveries, make sure to subscribe to American Coin Secrets because this channel brings fresh updates every single day. Now take a deep breath. Let's begin today's incredible journey. First up, Germany, 5 Pfennig, 1950J. Our journey begins with a small coin carrying a massive historical story behind it. The Germany 5 Pfennig 1950J was created during one of the most important periods in modern German history. After World War II, Germany was rebuilding itself economically, socially, and financially. Every new coin represented hope, recovery, and a fresh start. The 5 Pfennig may appear simple, but collectors understand that simple designs often hide extraordinary stories. This coin was produced in 1950 and carries the famous J mint mark, representing the Hamburg Mint. Mint marks are extremely important because they tell collectors exactly where a coin was produced. The design itself is elegant and meaningful. On one side, collectors can see the denomination surrounded by oak leaves. Oak leaves symbolize strength, endurance, and resilience. Germany intentionally selected these symbols to represent a nation moving forward after difficult times. The opposite side carries Germany's federal eagle, a symbol recognized worldwide. Although millions of 5 Pfennig coins were produced across several mints, collectors pay very close attention to mint marks, preservation quality, and historical significance. This is where the excitement truly begins. Many people unknowingly mistake old coins for ordinary pocket change. Unfortunately, countless pieces have been lost, damaged, scratched, cleaned improperly, or melted over the decades. Finding an authentic 1950J example in fine preserved condition attracts collector attention because condition always matters. Now let's talk about the composition. The Germany 5 Pfennig from this era was made using copper-plated steel. At first, that may not sound extraordinary, but experienced collectors know something very important. A coin does not need to contain precious metals to become desirable. History creates value. Survival creates value. Demand creates value. And these factors work together to transform ordinary objects into fascinating collector pieces. Now imagine holding this coin in your hand. This exact coin may have traveled through markets, shops, and cities over 70 years ago. It silently witnessed a nation rebuilding itself. Every tiny mark tells a story. Every detail represents history frozen in time. That is exactly why collectors become passionate about coins. They are not simply collecting money. They are collecting pieces of history. Another reason this coin attracts attention is because collectors worldwide continuously search for older German coins to complete historical collections. Demand remains strong among enthusiasts who appreciate post-war European coinage. Collectors also pay attention to several unique characteristics: sharp lettering, visible mint marks, strong eagle details, clear oak leaves, minimal corrosion, original surfaces. All these factors can increase desirability. If you ever discover one, never aggressively clean it. This is one of the biggest mistakes beginners make. Cleaning can permanently damage a coin's surface and reduce collector interest. Always handle coins carefully by their edges. Use gloves whenever possible. Store them in protective holders. Avoid humidity. Protect them from scratches. These simple habits help preserve history. Now comes the exciting reveal. Some collector listings and high-grade examples can reach impressive values depending on authentication, rarity factors, and overall condition. For the fine condition example discussed in today's video, a value around $80,000 is sometimes claimed online, but real market prices must always be independently verified because actual values vary significantly based on authenticity, certification, collector demand, and professional grading. This is exactly why expert authentication is extremely important. Never assume every old coin carries extraordinary value without verification. But one thing is certain. The Germany 5 Pfennig 1950J continues to fascinate collectors because it represents history, resilience, and survival. Its story is far bigger than its physical size. Sometimes, the smallest objects preserve the greatest stories. And that is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Imagine discovering one inside an old collection someday. That moment alone would become unforgettable. Before we move to the next coin in today's countdown, remember something very important. Never throw away old coins without checking them carefully. History has a way of surprising people. And surprises are exactly what we love here on American Coin Secrets. If you enjoyed this discovery, subscribe now because American Coin Secrets brings fresh updates every single day, uncovering fascinating stories from the world of rare and historical coins. Get ready, because coin number 2 could become even more surprising. Next up, American Coin Secrets, Germany and Pfennig 1975D. Ladies and gentlemen, our countdown continues, and now we arrive at a coin that many people would easily overlook without realizing they are staring at a fascinating piece of European history. Get ready because coin number 2 is the Germany 10 Pfennig 1975D. At first glance, this coin looks simple, ordinary, and even unimportant. But experienced collectors understand something that beginners often don't. Some of history's most fascinating treasures never announce themselves. They wait patiently to be discovered. The Germany in Pfennig 1975D was produced during the era of West Germany and carries the special D mint mark, which represents the Munich Mint. It belongs to the Deutsche Mark currency system that Germany used for decades before adopting the euro. The coin was part of everyday life for millions of people and quietly traveled through shops, markets, and cities across Germany. The 1975D version was struck at the Munich Mint and was made of brass-plated steel, with a weight of about 4 grams and a diameter of 21.5 millimeters. Now imagine this: a tiny coin, created over 50 years ago, surviving generations of economic change, modernization, and the complete transition from the Deutsche Mark to the euro. That alone makes it a fascinating survivor. This coin was not created to become a treasure. It was created to serve ordinary people. But history has a strange way of turning ordinary objects into extraordinary collector pieces. The design itself is elegant and timeless. On one side, you'll find the denomination surrounded by wheat ears, symbolizing prosperity, growth, and national stability. On the opposite side appears the inscription Bundesrepublik Deutschland, along with beautiful oak leaves, one of Germany's most recognized symbols of endurance and strength. This is exactly why collectors become passionate about historical coins. Every line has meaning. Every symbol tells a story. Every tiny detail represents a forgotten chapter of history. Now here's where the suspense begins. Over decades, millions of these coins disappeared from circulation forever. Some were damaged. Some were discarded. Some were melted down. Others simply vanished into forgotten drawers and old family boxes. Finding one in fine condition immediately becomes more interesting because preservation is one of the biggest factors collectors pay attention to. Condition can completely change a collector's interest. When experts inspect this coin, they carefully examine several details. They look at the sharpness of the lettering. They inspect the wheat ears. They examine the oak leaves. They verify the mint mark. They check for corrosion. They study the original surfaces. Every small detail matters. This is why patience is one of the greatest skills a coin collector can develop. Now let's talk about rarity and demand. Although many 10 Pfennig coins were produced, Collectors worldwide continue to search for specific years and mint combinations to complete historical West Germany collections. The 1975D coin belongs to a long-running series that many enthusiasts enjoy assembling because every mint mark tells a different story. Collectors especially appreciate the D mint mark because it connects directly to Munich's historic minting tradition. Something else makes this coin exciting. The 10 Pfennig series has become part of a larger historical story. Germany eventually replaced the Deutsche Mark with the euro in 2002, which officially ended the era of coins like this one. That means every surviving example has become a preserved artifact from a different monetary system. And that's what makes coin collecting so powerful. You're not simply collecting money. You're preserving history. You're protecting memories. You're holding a piece of another generation. Sometimes people ask why collectors become so passionate about coins. The answer is simple. Because coins are time machines. Imagine this very coin passing through countless hands decades ago. Perhaps a shopkeeper held it. Perhaps a student carried it. Perhaps someone placed it into a savings jar and forgot about it forever. Now it has another chance to tell its story. That alone makes the discovery exciting. Now let's talk about collector tips. If you ever find a Germany 10 Pfennig 1975D, never clean it aggressively. Even gentle scrubbing can permanently damage the surface. Never use chemicals. Never polish it. Never scrape it. Instead, hold the coin only by its edges. Store it inside a protective holder. Keep it away from moisture and humidity. These simple habits can help preserve its historical appearance for many years. Now comes the exciting value section. You mentioned a market value of $70,000 for a fine condition example. However, I cannot confirm that as an actual current market price. Real-world prices depend entirely on authentication, professional grading, rarity, auction demand, and collector interest. Public catalog references usually show ordinary examples selling for far lower amounts, so any extraordinary valuation should always be verified through trusted coin experts and certified auction houses. This is exactly why authentication is extremely important. Never assume online prices are guaranteed. Always verify before buying or selling. That said, one thing remains true. The Germany 10 Pfennig 1975D continues to attract collectors because of its historical importance, elegant design, and its connection to Germany's pre-Euro era. Sometimes, the smallest discoveries become the most memorable. Sometimes hidden treasures are not made of gold. Sometimes history itself becomes the treasure. And that is why millions of collectors around the world continue searching through old collections every single day. Who knows? Perhaps one day you will open an old coin box and discover a forgotten piece of history waiting for you. If you enjoyed today's discovery, subscribe to American Coin Secrets because this channel brings fresh updates every single day, uncovering hidden stories and fascinating treasures from around the world. And trust me, coin number 3 may become even more surprising. Next up, American Coin Secrets, Italy 50, Lira 1976 AR. Ladies and gentlemen, the excitement continues because we have now arrived at coin number 3, and this one carries a fascinating story from the heart of Europe. Get ready because today's discovery is the Italy 50, Lira 1976R. At first glance, many people would walk right past this coin without giving it a second look. But experienced collectors understand something very important. Some of history's most fascinating treasures hide in plain sight. The Italy 50 Lira 1976R is one of those coins that represents an entire era of Italian history. It was struck in Rome, which is represented by the R mint mark, and was part of Italy's currency system before the country adopted the euro. It features an elegant design that remained in circulation for decades. Now imagine this, a coin that traveled through countless Italian cities, perhaps Rome, perhaps Milan, perhaps Florence, perhaps a small Italian village. For decades, it quietly passed through the hands of ordinary people, while unknowingly preserving a piece of national history. This is exactly why collectors love historical coins, because every coin is a silent witness to history. Now let's talk about its beautiful design. On one side, you can see the elegant profile of a woman wearing an oak wreath. The inscriptions represent the Italian Republic and showcase the artistic work of Italian engravers Giuseppe Romagnoli and Pietro Giampaoli. On the reverse side, something very special appears. You can see Vulcan, the Roman god of fire and metalworking, standing beside an anvil while forging iron with a hammer. This powerful image symbolizes hard work, craftsmanship, and industrial strength. The date and denomination appear beside him, while the R mint mark identifies the Rome mint. This artistic design is one of the reasons why collectors around the world continue to appreciate this series. This coin is not simply a piece of old currency. It is a miniature work of art. Now let's discuss its composition. The Italy 50 Lira 1976R was produced using stainless steel, weighs approximately 6.25 grams, and has a diameter of 24.8 millimeters. Some beginners become surprised when they hear this. They ask, how can a coin without gold or silver become interesting? The answer is simple. History creates fascination, survival creates significance, and collector demand creates excitement. That's exactly why coin collecting is so special. You're not collecting metal, you're collecting history. Now here comes the suspense. Over the decades, millions of coins disappeared forever. Some were scratched, some were bent, some were lost. Others were forgotten inside old boxes and family collections. Finding one in preserved fine condition is far more exciting than finding a damaged example because preservation is one of the biggest factors collectors examine. When experts evaluate this coin, they pay attention to several details. They inspect the profile of the woman. They examine the oak leaves. They study Vulcan's hammer. They verify the Rome mint mark. They check for scratches and corrosion. Every detail matters. Now let's talk about collector demand. Although the 1976 issue had a very large mintage of approximately 180.6 million pieces, collectors still enjoy this series because of its historical significance and beautiful design. In standard market catalogs, ordinary circulated examples are very common and usually trade for small amounts unless they possess exceptional qualities or rare errors. This is something very important to understand. Never assume that every old coin automatically becomes extremely valuable. Authentication is everything. Professional grading is everything. Condition is everything. Now imagine this coin resting inside an old collection for 50 years. Imagine discovering it unexpectedly one day. That moment alone creates excitement, because every collector dreams about uncovering a forgotten piece of history. Now let's talk about collector tips. If you ever find an Italy 50 Lira 1976R, never polish it. Never scrub it. Never use chemicals. Never try to make it shiny. Doing so may permanently damage its surface. Always hold the coin by its edges. Store it in a protective holder. Keep it away from moisture. Protect it from fingerprints. These simple habits can help preserve its historical appearance for years to come. Now we arrive at the value section. You mentioned a value of $60,000 for a fine condition example. However, I cannot confirm that as a current market price. Public references show ordinary 1976R. Italy 50 Lira coins are generally common, with many standard examples valued at under $1. Any extraordinary valuation would require independent verification through professional grading services, authenticated rarity, or a confirmed mint error before it could be considered realistic. And this is exactly why knowledge is powerful, because informed collectors protect themselves from misleading information. One thing remains true, though. The Italy 50 Lira 1976R continues to fascinate collectors because of its beautiful artwork, its connection to Italy's history, and its place in the pre-Euro era. Sometimes history itself becomes the treasure. Sometimes the story behind a coin becomes even more valuable than the coin itself. And that is why millions of collectors around the world continue searching through old collections every single day. Who knows? Maybe one day you will open an old box and discover a forgotten piece of European history waiting for you. If you enjoyed today's discovery, don't forget to subscribe to American Coin Secrets, because this channel brings fresh updates every single day, uncovering fascinating stories and hidden treasures from around the world. Now get ready. Because coin number 4 is still waiting, and the final reveal could be the most exciting one yet. Next up, American Coin Secrets, British India Quarter, Anna, 1938. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally arrived at the final coin of today's incredible countdown. And this one carries a story that reaches back to an entirely different era. Get ready, because coin number 4 is the British India Quarter, Anna, 1938. This is not simply an old coin. This is a surviving witness from the British India period. Imagine holding a coin that circulated almost 90 years ago. A coin that existed before India's independence. A coin that passed through markets, railways, villages, and cities during one of the most important chapters of South Asian history. That alone makes this discovery fascinating. Now imagine something even more exciting. This small bronze coin survived wars, economic changes, political transitions, and the end of an entire empire. That is exactly why collectors become fascinated by historical coins. Because every coin is a time capsule. The 1938 British India Quarter Anna was issued during the reign of King George VI. It was a standard circulation coin used throughout British India and belongs to a series produced from 1938 to 1940. Now let's talk about its beautiful appearance. On the front side, collectors can see the portrait of King George VI facing left with the inscription, George VI, King Emperor. The portrait was designed by engraver Percy Metcalfe and became one of the iconic designs of British Indian coinage. On the reverse side, you'll find a floral wreath surrounding the words 1/4 Anna India and the year 1938. At first glance, the design may seem simple, but experienced collectors understand something very important. Simple designs often become timeless designs. Every tiny detail was carefully crafted to represent authority, order, and the monetary system of an entire era. Now let's discuss its composition. The British India Quarter, Anna 1938, was made of bronze and weighs approximately 4.85 grams with a diameter of around 25.3 millimeters. It was struck at Calcutta and Bombay mints, and some varieties can be identified through specific mint marks and design differences. Now here comes the suspense. Millions of these coins were originally produced. Historical records indicate more than 33 million pieces were minted at Calcutta, with additional Bombay mint production. However, surviving coins in desirable condition become increasingly harder to find after decades of circulation and storage damage. This is exactly why condition matters so much. Collectors inspect every detail carefully. They study the king's portrait. They examine the floral wreath. They inspect the lettering. They verify mint varieties. Every detail becomes important. Now imagine this. Perhaps this very coin was once carried inside a cloth purse. Perhaps it traveled on a train during the British Raj. Perhaps it was used inside an old marketplace. Every possibility makes the story even more exciting. This is why people fall in love with coin collecting, because history suddenly feels alive. Now let's talk about collector demand. British India coins continue to attract worldwide attention because they connect collectors to a major historical period. Collectors especially enjoy building complete George VI collections because every year and mint variety adds another piece to the story. But here's something extremely important. Never assume every old coin automatically becomes extraordinarily valuable. Authentication always comes first. Professional grading always matters. Condition always matters. Knowledge is your greatest tool as a collector. Now, let's discuss collector tips. If you discover a British India Quarter Anna 1938, never clean it. Never polish it. Never scrape the surface. Never use chemicals. Doing so may permanently damage its historical appearance. Always hold the coin by its edges. Store it inside a protective holder. Keep it away from moisture. Protect it from fingerprints. These simple habits can help preserve the coin for future generations. Now we arrive at the value section. You mentioned a value of $50,000 for a fine condition example. However, I cannot confirm this as a current market value. Public references show that ordinary authenticated examples are generally worth far less, and any exceptionally high valuation would require professional authentication, an unusual variety, a mint error, or certified rarity before such a price could be considered realistic. This is why educated collectors always verify values independently. Never rely on unverified online price claims. Always consult trusted grading services and reputable auction houses. One thing is certain, though. The British India Quarter, Anna, 1938, remains a fascinating historical coin. It preserves a chapter of history that can never be recreated. Sometimes history itself becomes the treasure. Sometimes the story becomes more valuable than the object. And that is why millions of collectors around the world continue searching through old boxes every single day. Who knows? Maybe one day you will discover a forgotten piece of history waiting quietly for you. And that moment could become unforgettable. Thank you for joining today's incredible journey here on American Coin Secrets. If you enjoyed today's discoveries, subscribe now because American Coin Secrets brings fresh updates every single day, uncovering hidden histories, fascinating stories, and incredible coins from around the world. And remember, always check your old collections carefully, because history has a habit of hiding extraordinary stories in the smallest places.